Hey everyone, Mr. W here. This lesson is on decimals part 7. Today we're going to relate decimals, fractions, and money. Remember that a decimal is any number that is on the right side. Oh, there goes my pen today. On the right side of a decimal point. So for example, here we have a dollar sign, a 1, a decimal point, 6, and 7. The 1 is on the left side, which is a whole number, and that's represented here by our $1 here, which is on the left side. The 6 and the 7 are decimals, which means that it's less than a dollar. For example, here we have 67 cents represented by our 2 quarters, 50 cents, a dime, which brings it to 60, 65, 67. We could write this on a place value chart as our $1, our decimal would go here. 6 goes in the tenths and 7 in the hundredths. In decimal form, we would write it this way without the dollar sign and read this as 1 and 67 hundredths. In fraction form, it would represent the same value, and we would say 1, and then in fraction form, 67 over hundredths. In other words, 1 and 67 hundredths. And in dollar form, as we wrote up at the top, $1 and 67 cents. So that's what we mean when we're saying we are relating decimals, fractions, and dollars today. Let's just begin with a real quick review of coins. We have quarters, dimes, nickels, and pennies. Remember, a quarter is 25 cents. 2 quarters is 50. 3 would be 75, and 4 would equal $1, 100 cents. A dime is worth 10 cents. A nickel, 5 cents, and a penny, 1 cent. Okay, so let's explore that a little bit more of connecting our money in fraction and decimal form. So we said that a quarter is 25 cents. And let's just say, for example, we needed to represent 2 quarters. We use our 100 grid, and I'm going to shade 2 quarters would be 50. So I'm going to see 20, 30, 40, and 50. I think we got 50 here for the most part. So we could represent that on a 2 quarters on our hundreds grid by shading in 50 of the 100. As a fraction, 2 quarters would represent 50 out of 100 cents. And in decimal form, remember that we can just say 0.50, which is read as 50 hundredths. Our dimes would just be 10 cents and would represent what each dime would represent 1 column. So for example, if we had 4 dimes, we would shade 4 columns. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. If we had to represent this model as a fraction, we would say that that would be a total of 40 out of 100, or 40 100ths. And in decimal form, we would write that as 0.40. Our nickels are 5, so 1 nickel would just be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In this example, let's do 3. That would be 5, 10, 15. So I'm going to shade 10 here. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think that's 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sure. Okay. And if we had to express that as a fraction, it would be, excuse me, 15 100ths, and in decimal form, it would be expressed as 0.15, which is 15 hundredths. Our penny is 1 cent, so 1 would just be one of these shaded. In this example, we would have 13 pennies. 10, 11, 12, 13. And if we had to represent that in fraction form, would be 13 100ths. And in decimal form, 13 100ths. We need to be able to make the connection between money and fractions and decimals. So let's practice some. 32 hundredths as a money amount would be 0.32 or 32 cents. And as a decimal would just be Notice it looks the same except for not the dollar sign. 96 out of hundreds would be $0.96. But in decimal form, we wouldn't need the dollar sign. We would just write 96, so 96 hundredths. Here we have a mixed number. We would say in dollar form, it would be $3.05. And in decimal form, we don't need the dollar sign. We would just write the mixed number of 3 and 500. So notice here, we read this as $3.05. In decimal form, we would read this as 3 and 500ths. Equal in value, it just depends if we have the dollar sign or not. In this example, write the money amount as a fraction and as a decimal, so we're going to a fraction this time. 36 cents would be 36 hundredths in fraction form. Remember, there's 100 cents in each dollar, so 36 cents would equal 36 of 100. And decimal form would be 36 hundredths. Here we have 15 cents. And in fraction form, 15 100ths. And in decimal form, also 15 hundredths. The mixed number of $2.85 in fraction form would be the mixed number of 2 and 85 hundredths. And in decimal form, also 2 and 85 hundredths. So we're looking at the same value, it's just expressed differently. Write the decimal amount as a fraction and money this time. So 67 hundredths in this case would be as a fraction, 67 hundredths. And in money amount would be 67 cents. 43 hundredths would be 43 hundredths in fraction form. And in money, we would add our dollar sign. There's no dollars here, and 43 cents. 9 and 17 hundredths in fraction form would be a mixed number, 9 and 17 hundredths. And in decimal form, we would read this as 9 and 17 hundredths. Pause if you like and give it a try. All right, how'd you do? Write the fraction as a money amount and as a decimal. 69 out of hundredths would be 69 cents, and as a decimal would just be 69 hundredths. Again, same thing except for the dollar sign. 35 hundredths as money amount would be 30. We would read that as 35 cents, but in decimal form we would just read that as 35 hundredths. It's equal. It just depends if you have the dollar sign or if it's written as a fraction. The mixed number 7 and 21 hundredths would be in dollar form, $7.21, and in decimal form would be 7 and 21 hundredths. Here we're writing the money amount. This is money, and we're writing that as a fraction and decimal. 85 cents would be 85 100ths. In decimal form, 85 hundredths. 43 cents would be 43 100ths. And in decimal form, also 43 hundredths. The mixed number of $5.10 would be 5 and 10 hundredths in fraction form, and in decimal form, 5 and 10 hundredths. At the bottom, write the decimal amount as a fraction and as money, 75 hundredths. Well, that's easy, 75 hundredths. And as money, add your dollar sign and 75 cents. 29 hundredths in decimal form would look this way in fraction form, and as money would be $0.29. The mixed number 2 and 56 hundredths in fraction form would be 2 and 56 hundredths. And in money form would be $2.56. I'm going to double check, make sure I got that right. All right, looking good. All right, last thing we'll need to do is to make those connections is to look at a mixture of bills and coins and then to write them in 3 ways. So let's see if we can do that. Write the value of the bills and coins 3 ways: as money, as a fraction, and as a decimal. Let's do one together and then I'll let you try one. I'm seeing here that we have $1, $2, $3, and that is our three whole dollars. And now we've got to do our change. I'm seeing 25, 35, 45, 50, 55, 56, 57, 58. I'm coming up with 358. Because I'm making a video, I'm going to double check. 25, 35, 45, 50, 55. Yeah, $3.58. So money form, $3.58. In fraction form, a mixed number of 3 and 58 hundredths, right? Three of our wholes and 58 cents out of 100. And in decimal form, we would write this as 3 and 58 hundredths. All right, try one. Pause if you like. Write the value of the bills and coins three ways: as money, as a fraction, and as a decimal. All right, how'd you do? I'm seeing $2, and then in our change, I'm seeing 50 cents, 60, 70, 80, 85, 90, 95, $1, 101. So I'm really adding, I gave you guys the hard one, right? That would be $3.01. So in money form, 3.01. In fraction form, 3 and 1/100ths. And in decimal form, it would be 3 and 1/100ths. But remember, we don't put it here. That would be in 1/10. We would have to write our 0 and our 1. Thanks, everybody. Threw a lot at you today. You did a good job. And we'll see you next time. Okay, bye-bye.